How you doing, YouTube family? Today is Wednesday, June the 11th, 2025. Is your man Big D, and I'm back with another one. I want to thank all you folk out there in YouTube land for continuing to rock out with my son and I. We appreciate it. Thank you. Well, family, I'm back with another video, and in this one, I got another Tony's cheating stories. Got another one that was another was very disturbing, family, very disturbing. And I've always heard of guys going through these type of situations and whatnot. And I know a couple of guys who kind of went through similar situations, but to constantly hear these stories, unfortunately, I think men need to hear it. I think men need to hear these stories, and perhaps more men to start watching for those telltale signs. So, that's just what it is. But a lot of men already see they see them small little tidbits of signs and change of behavior, change of this, and they just, for whatever the reason, they just ignore it. Because in their mind, oh, this, we good over here. This will never happen to me. But let's go ahead and check out my man as he go ahead and drops this story of the yet another cheating wife.
Story time. My wife sent me the SEXT that was meant for her boss. I was under my car replacing brake pads when my phone buzzed against the concrete. I slid out and checked the message from my wife. What I saw made my stomach drop into my boots. My wife had sent me a photo that clearly wasn't meant for me. I stared at the image showing her in our bedroom wearing black lingerie I'd never seen her in. The message underneath read, "I can't wait for you to take this off me tomorrow during lunch, Daddy." Sometimes, in rare cases, cheaters will hang themselves. I felt like someone had punched me in the chest. In 8 years of marriage, my wife had never called me daddy or sent me photos like this.
Now, man, family, can you imagine that? In 8 years of marriage, this man wife ain't never worn nothing sexy and certainly never called him daddy. That tells me whoever this is at work, her boss, and it sounded to me like her boss might be dropping off you know some serious meat at lunchtime. That's what it sounds like to me.
My hands started shaking as I read it again. 2 minutes later, another text popped up. OMG, delete that please. Wrong person. So sorry, babe. Wrong person. I sat there on the garage floor trying to process what I was looking at. My wife had just accidentally sent me a sext meant for someone else. I immediately thought of her boss at the furniture store. Well, it seems like he had an uneasy feeling about her boss. That's why he made that statement. I'd always gotten bad vibes from him during company events. He was the type who stood.
Now hold on. We not just going glance past this one. So sorry, babe, wrong person. What? Nah, man. Nah, you got me effed up. You got your husband effed up. So you done sent you done accidentally sent your husband a picture text of you wearing sexy lingerie, which this man says stated you've never done that for him, and then talking about, oh, I can't wait for you to take this off of me at work tomorrow, daddy. Man, can you imagine what goes on these jobs, family? It used to be a time where, what I'm saying, if your wife was gonna cheat, what I'm saying, she had to be creative with that shit, right? Nowadays, it's built right into their daily function. They gotta go to work, right? gotta go to work. That shit, they can get them some, they can get their little bike blowed out right there during the course of their day. The course of their work day, they can get their walls worked and ain't never gotta leave the uh the work property. They can stay right on the work property, get their cheeks clapped, and never have to leave it. While all along, you don't suspect nothing because hell, no wonder when she, you know what I'm saying, she never go nowhere at night. She don't never go, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no wonder she ain't get giving no cheating signs. Cause she getting it during the course of her duty day, her work day. Oh man, this is just, man, listen, the more and more I hear these stories, it just it just kind of just make me wonder like, damn, is all hope lost?
Too close when talking and made jokes that crossed lines. I mentioned my discomfort to my wife before, but she always defended him. Now I understood why. I took screenshots before she could ask me to delete anything. My first instinct was to march inside and confront her immediately, but something stopped me. I've always been methodical. In my construction work, I assessed the full situation before making repairs. I needed to understand exactly what I was dealing with. When I walked into the house 20 minutes later, I found my wife in the kitchen making dinner. She looked up and gave me that same smile I'd fallen for in college. "How's the car coming along?" she asked.
You know what? I cannot believe that his wife is basically she gaslighting the fuck out of him. Man, she ain't gaslighting him. She fucking blowtorching his ass. She flame throwing his ass. Like, okay, this text you just accidentally sent to me, but was meant for another dude, and you gonna say, oh, wrong person, and okay, well, we cool now? And she going about her day like, oh, ain't no big deal. Oh man, you know what? Oh, that's a little nasty one right there. Oh, she nasty. Oh yeah, I can only imagine what's going on in her job.
Stirring pasta sauce like nothing happened. I wanted to throw my phone at her and demanded answers. Instead, I told her the car was fine and went to wash my hands. I studied her face, looking for any sign of guilt or panic. Nothing. She acted completely normal all evening. We watched Netflix together, and she even initiated sex, which had become rare lately. That's a tactic to throw him off. She's having sex with her husband to distract him. The whole time I kept thinking about that photo and wondering how long this had been going on behind my back. I lay awake until 3 in the morning planning my next move. I called in sick to the construction site the next morning. I watched my wife get ready for work, acting like her usual self. She kissed me goodbye and reminded me she'd be working late for inventory. After she left, I drove to the furniture store and parked where I could watch the employee lot. I saw my wife's Honda and her boss's black BMW in their usual spots. I waited until lunchtime, which today for them was around 2 p.m., and watched them leave separately within 5 minutes of each other. I followed as they drove to the same hotel 15
Mm,
minutes away.
mm,
I
mm.
didn't go inside, but took photos of both cars in the parking lot with timestamps. The sight of their vehicles side by side made me feel sick. When my wife came home that evening, she
Oh, I bet it did make you feel sick, knowing that your wife has never put on any sexy lingerie for you, let alone called you daddy. Oh, I bet you did feel sick. Cause you wondering how much meat that her boss issuing out to her to make her put on some sexy lingerie and to make her to motivate her to call him daddy. Oh man, listen. I don't know who her boss is, but shit, buddy working them down walls 6 ways a Sunday.
complained about her exhausting workday. She went
Oh, I
straight to the
bet.
shower and bed before I could look at her. Over the next week, I started paying attention to details I previously ignored. I noticed she always kept her phone face down now. She took it with her everywhere, even to the bathroom. She started wearing perfume to work when she never had before. She was doing laundry more frequently, always washing her clothes separately from mine. Hmm? Most telling was her work schedule. She was staying late twice a week now, always Wednesdays and Fridays.
Mm, mm,
I
mm,
knew the store closed at 9, but she wasn't getting home until after 11.
mm,
I started keeping
mm,
a notebook in my
mm.
toolbox, documenting everything. The following Wednesday, I followed her after work again. Instead of the hotel, she drove to a house in a neighborhood 23 minutes away. I parked 3 houses down and watched her car sit in the driveway for 2 hours. When she finally left, I took more photos and wrote down the address. That night, she told me she stayed late organizing the furniture warehouse. I listened to her lie to my face
Mm,
with
mm,
such
mm.
ease. I realized this wasn't just about sex. She was comfortable deceiving me about everything. By Friday, I had enough evidence to confront her. But I wanted more than just a confession. I wanted consequences that would actually matter. I did some research and learned that her affair partner wasn't just my wife's boss. He was married with 2 teenage kids. I met his wife at company functions.
Ooh,
She
wow.
worked as a nurse at the local hospital and
Wow.
seemed like a genuinely decent person. I felt she deserved to know what her husband was doing. I also remembered through conversations with my wife that her affair partner was up for promotion to regional manager. I looked up the company's employee handbook online and found strict policies about workplace relationships between supervisors and subordinates. A scandal like this
Mm,
could destroy his career advancement. I spent
mm.
the weekend creating a comprehensive file with all my evidence. I included photos of their cars at the hotel and his house, timestamps of my wife's late nights, and documentation of her behavioral changes. I even included the screenshot of her accidental sext. I made
Wow.
3 copies of everything on Monday morning. One went into a safety deposit box I opened at a different bank. One stayed hidden in my toolbox. The third was going directly to the affair partner's wife. I knew her schedule because my wife had mentioned it before. She worked 3 12-hour shifts at the hospital on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. On Tuesday, I waited in the hospital parking lot until her shift ended at 7:30. When she walked out, I approached her carefully. Sorry to bother you, but we met at company events. I'm married to one of your husband's employees. I have something very difficult to show you, but I think you deserve to know. I watched her face go pale as I handed her the envelope. You know, when I read these stories, some of these people have some decent detective skills they probably didn't know they had. I'm sorry to be the one telling you this, but your husband and my wife have been having an affair. I gave her my phone number and told her to call if she needed anything else. Then I left her alone to process what I just dropped on her. She called me that night, crying, but grateful I told her. She said she suspected something was wrong, but couldn't prove it. The next morning, I sent copies of everything to the corporate HR department and the regional manager selection committee.
Ooh.
I wrote a detailed letter explaining the workplace relationship violation and how it created a hostile environment for other employees. Then I sat back and waited for the dominoes to fall. I was in my garage Wednesday evening when
Listen, family, you must admit, whoever this dude is, man, he was calculating like a mug, right? He didn't show his hand. Man, most dudes would have lost their shit when they got that picture text. Most people would have lost it. And that's where a lot of men go short at. We get so wrapped up because we get I can't believe this happening to me. But then now, when you get your first little piece of evidence, you want to go confront the person, and really and truly, a lot of times the women can manipulate their way out of that shit because you just don't have enough evidence. So sometimes you got to hold out a little bit and collect yourself and get all your facts straight, especially if you're married and this happens to you.
my wife came home in tears. She found me and collapsed into sobs. Someone found out about us, she said through her crying. He's been suspended, and HR is interviewing everyone about workplace conduct. I held her while she cried, feeling absolutely nothing but disgust. Still, she had no idea I was the one who'd blown up her little affair.
I can't believe this woman is so she must think her husband was a simp, man. Cause she just disrespecting him, just playing all up in his face with another dude. And I get he's staying cool, calm, and collected, but man, god damn, how much I mean, come on now. As family, at some point, this woman cannot respect him. He gonna come home and collapse in his arms and sob about cause the next man having problems. Man, her boss must have been blowing her bike out.
Maybe this is a sign that what you're doing is wrong. She pulled back and looked at me with confusion. What do you mean? I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshot of her accidental sext. I watched all the color drain from her face. It was you, she whispered. Since the moment you sent it to the wrong person,
Mm,
we talked until
mm,
dawn.
mm.
I listened to every excuse and manipulation she could think of. It was just physical. It didn't mean anything. She
Shit,
was
that
going
shit
through a
me.
crisis, and he had pursued her. None of it mattered to me anymore.
See how this woman now, she very, very complicit in this whole thing, but she gonna try to throw it on her boss. Oh, he pursued me. No, you want to get you want to get that little ass up too. Let's call it what it is. You want to get that little cat up. And once you gave it up that one time, you like the way that meat felt, I'm sure, with no protection involved, and you just kept letting him put miles and miles and miles on your box while probably not having any intimacies with your husband.
I told her I had already filed for divorce and she needed to find somewhere else to live. Her affair partner was fired 2 days later. The investigation uncovered multiple policy violations, and other female employees came forward with their own stories about his inappropriate behavior.
Wow,
His
sexual
promotion was
harassment.
canceled.
So now with this, now this company they done open up themselves for liability. These are potential lawsuits. They had this man is in a management position and he's sexually harassing the women. Oh man, shit. They got this company would be lucky if they'll still be in business after all these potential lawsuits.
And his reputation in the industry was destroyed. The affair partner's wife filed for divorce within the week. My wife moved in with her mom and struggled to find another retail job. Her former boss wasn't giving positive references to anyone. She called me multiple times begging for reconciliation. I never answered. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. I kept the house and most of our assets since I could prove adultery. I heard through mutual friends that my wife and her affair partner tried to make their relationship work after both divorces were final. It fell apart within 3 months. Unfortunately for her, the green grass on the other side turned brown. I learned that trust, once completely broken, can never be repaired. But I also learned I was stronger than I thought. Sometimes the best revenge is simply letting people face the natural consequences of their choices. I moved on with my life, and I'm better for it. This experience taught me that self respect sometimes requires making difficult decisions and that personal integrity cannot be compromised for anyone else's comfort. Until next time, story.
So y'all heard it, family. This is another story. And the first story that we heard that I reacted to, that story was twisted. But this one, oh man, and that just goes to show you, some women, man, they straight up thoughts. You up around and you marry a thought, or she got them promiscuous ways, and you thinking, well, uh, if I just show her I can support her, if I can just, take her in, clean her up, you know, straighten her out. She like the little stray puppy in the neighborhood that nobody want. Nobody don't, you know what I'm saying? Nobody want to be bothered with this puppy because this puppy is a stray, it's a mutt. But your ass see potential in this little mutt puppy. You think, well, if I just take him in, bring him in, feed him a nice meal, give him a bath, clean him up, he got the potential to be a thoroughbred. No, he is never gonna be a thoroughbred. He is what he is. That's just the way it goes. He's not a pedigreed puppy. He's a mutt. So that girl you got that you thinking that you can transform into a wife, you listen, you can't. You can't. You can't turn that thought into a housewife no more than I can turn my cell phone to a brick of gold. That shit just ain't happening. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a damn if it's Merlin. I don't think Merlin got the ability and the magical powers. I don't care if it's Doctor Strange. They can't even put no spells on these chicks nowadays to get them to act right. That's just where we at. Well, family, always remember, be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Peace.